We now welcome in Jonathan Macri, the Dean of Knicks Film School, to play the numbers game. And Jonathan, your first number is 25 because it's been more like the Globetrotters against the Washington Generals with the Knicks in the playoffs, becoming the first team in NBA history to win 3 straight playoff games by at least 25 points. So what's been the biggest reason for the Knicks' recent domination?
Yeah, I mean, with numbers like they're putting up, obviously it's not just one thing. They're dominating on both sides of the ball. But I'm going to look at the defense right here because they've held actually 4 straight opponents to under 100 points. And something that I've been noticing that they weren't always great at in the regular season is they've been forcing a lot of turnovers. They're second in the NBA playoffs over this 4-game span in terms of forcing the opponent to turn the ball over. And I'm looking in particular at Josh Hart and OG Anunoby. They're tied for 20th in the league in steals per game. I think they're being really smart about how they're approaching opposing offenses, knowing they want to target Jalen Brunson. They're kind of using that to their advantage and playing into that perceived weakness and turning it into a strength.
All right, your next number, 35.4, Jalen Brunson's career playoff points per game against the 76ers. That's tied for 6th highest against any one opponent with at least 7 games played. So what can Nick Nurse and the Sixers come up with to contain Brunson?
I would start by praying. This has been a long time coming for Jalen Brunson. He dominated them 2 years ago in the playoffs and picked up right where he left off. I think, unfortunately for the Sixers, they just don't have that prototypical Jalen Brunson defender like you saw with Dyson Daniels in the last series, like we might see in the next series if they get there with Asar Thompson. I think what Nick Nurse is going to have to resort to is just some double teams, getting the ball out of Jalen Brunson's hands and hoping that his teammates can't step up to the plate and take advantage of that situation.
Yeah, you just wonder if they're going to try picking him up early, which the Pacers did so well last year in the Eastern Conference Finals. All right, your next number is 8. Karl Anthony Towns, assists per game in the last 4 contests. Jonathan, is this the best version of Towns when he's a facilitator and finding the open man?
I think the best version of Karl Anthony Towns is the one that takes what the defense gives him and reacts to it accordingly. Against Atlanta, that meant exactly what you said, him being the facilitator. You saw the Knicks try to lean into that at the start of Game 1 against the Sixers. Didn't go so well, and then they quickly pivoted into realizing, hey, if Joel Embiid is going to be covering Karl Anthony Towns, let's go right to that Brunson-Towns pick and roll, which obviously worked very well for the Knicks, but it required Karl Anthony Towns to do something that he hasn't always done a lot of, which is pop out to the 3-point arc. You saw him hit 3 of 5 from that distance. And look, I think when you look at Karl Anthony Towns' overall playoffs, it's not only the eye test. You look at the numbers. He's the second most effective shooter among the top 40 leading scorers in the playoffs among guys who have played for all their team's games, behind only his teammate, OG Anunoby. So hitting shots, doing what they need him to do on defense, checking all the boxes so far in the postseason.
Yeah, no doubt about that. He is stuffing the stat sheet right now. Okay, finally, 20.5. Mikal Bridges is averaging that in the last 2 games. Jonathan, he's been in your doghouse, but are you starting to believe that Bridges can be that consistent factor for the Knicks?
I am, and that Game 6 against Atlanta was so big for him to see the ball go through the net a few times. And look, he is the X factor for the Knicks in a lot of ways because opposing teams only have so many good defenders. You know they're going to put those guys on Brunson, Towns, OG Anunoby. If he could take advantage of a weak defender like Tyrese Maxey, the Knicks become a very difficult team to beat.
You mentioned Maxey. He also has that key defensive assignment of slowing down Maxey, and he did a good job with that in Game 1. Jonathan Macri, thanks for joining us here on Honda Sports Night.